Hey, hey, hey. TMH, we back again.
What's going on, people?
What's going on? What's good?
Everybody. Another week, another episode.
Yes, sir.
To all our listeners and viewers, hope y'all had a great week. Hope everything been beautiful for you.
Hey, I don't know about you guys. I don't know where you guys are at, but man, up here in Cali, it's lovely. 70, sun's out. It's absolutely beautiful right now.
Well, the temperature down here in Atlanta's been pretty nice, but we've had that big, nasty pollen blanket that has been blowing over us for the past couple weeks. But once that's gone,
the worst is hopefully behind you.
Yeah. It just rained the last couple days, so it's been giving us a break. It's feeling better down here.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Cool. But I think with that, again, got another great episode for you guys. A lot of content, a lot of things going on right now. I know for me,
yes, sir.
I haven't even seen it yet, but Minecraft. I can't go anywhere without hearing about Minecraft breaking records, this and that, Jack Black.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on right now.
Momoa, yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I plan on taking my little boy to see it probably on the weekend.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I will definitely give y'all my review once I have taken a view of it.
I was shocked when I heard that it beat out Barbie and Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, I don't know if you guys have played Minecraft, but I mean, if you think about it, I'm a little bit later to Minecraft. I think it came out in 08, 09, something like that. But now you've got about 15 years worth of players who have played it. They all grew up playing it. Now they're having kids. They're bringing their kids. They let their kids play. It's almost like the Super Mario for me back in the 80s, right? Like Super Mario and video games. Now it's just a bigger world now.
Speaking of Super Mario and all that, there's a movie that came out I think a year or two ago that talks about the history of Nintendo and how they started with Game Boy and everything. It's called Tetris, and that was a really dope movie, man. That was really dope.
Yo, I still need to watch.
I remember seeing that come out. I didn't get a chance to see it, but
you were pushing that hard, Terrence. Hey, that's some homework.
No, because
you gotta watch that.
Yeah, when I saw it, I said, So I just clicked on it, started watching it, man, and I got caught up in it immediately. Because I didn't know that within that movie, within that story, that it was a guy from Russia that actually created the game. So it was a bidding war going back and forth between who was going to get the rights for the game Tetris. You know, it was really crazy, man. You got to definitely see that. Really crazy. So, but yeah, that's definitely one to see, man. That's definitely one to watch.
I remember pulling it up on Amazon.
Wow.
Let me see. Tetris.
Yeah,
movie.
Tetris was dope. That was dope.
And they've always done something nostalgic, right? Because they also, Adam Sandler had Pixels come out that had all those nostalgic video game characters come out in it. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Oh, is it?
I like that.
Are you pulling it up?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I have too many screens going right now. I got like 10 screens.
You good, man.
All right, so let's see here.
While you're doing that, shout out to the Florida Gators on a sports note. We don't normally do that, but it is a special time. It's now the end of March Madness. The finals is over. The Florida Gators are the NCAA men's basketball national champions. So shouts out to them. Good job. All hail the SEC.
Hey, so
Yeah,
was that a big upset? So I've fallen off on sports big time, but I'll at least keep up with basketball, football. But college, never got into college.
It wasn't an upset for them to play in the championship. The real upset happened when the University of Houston beat Duke in the Final Four.
Bro,
so
I heard about that.
Everybody who had Duke slated to win got their bracket busted right there at the Final Four.
Damn. I mean, I would think like 999 out of 1,000, Duke is going to win that. But it
they were at the top of my bracket to win, and my bracket got busted as soon as they got beat by Houston. 3 points.
This is where we need that sound. Boom, boom, got smacked up. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But Houston's not normally even, I mean, that must have been a huge win for Houston because, like, I don't ever hear Houston ever. So to get to the
University of Houston, right, making it to the finals, exactly.
That's amazing.
That was wild. Yeah.
Because it's always, especially NCAA, it's always the same teams every time, man. Duke, UConn, Arizona, same teams, man.
People had, as soon as Duke got Cooper Flag, people had Duke on their radar for the championship, right then at his recruiting.
Is he that big dude?
Last off season. The big old white boy, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yes, he ain't the center, not their big guy. But I think he is either a small or a power forward. He's not a small guy.
Okay, he's 6'9".
Right?
He's 6'9".
Yeah. He's they think he's the next coming to Larry Bird. I don't really see that. I think
he's
got a lot of better chance. Yeah, we've seen that before, and
Leitner.
I don't know if and he didn't measure up to Bird. When we say Bird, do you know what you're saying? You know what I mean? That man went up against the best of them. He talked his trash, and he put them fools in a blender and dropped the ball in the bucket for championships. They had a squad. The Celtics is always one of them teams going to draft the best players. They always going to have a squad. Man, they were loaded, but he brought them home. But back to the movie world. How we looking on the
Tetris.
on the Tetris screen?
Yeah, let me pull that up. So I did find it on Prime. Let's take a quick look here.
Okay, cool.
Is this the 1T?
Yep, that's it. Do they have a trainer?
That's Taron Egerton. Okay, that's my guy from Kingsman.
I wanted to watch that, man. I got overruled by my fam. They're all like, nah. Like, really?
Well,
oh yeah, there actually is a trailer.
Let
me see.
The Kingsman movies
pull up
the ones you can
do. Probably right on YouTube.
Oh yeah, there's Coop.
Yep.
And there's Cooper Flag. Yep. Kingsman's always been pretty. It's pretty violent. A lot of blood, a lot of guts, a lot of you try to keep away from that.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
They give you that. It looks like it on the surface, but it's not.
Hold on. Let's do this so I can get the sound through.
Oh yeah, do your thing.
I do the tab. There we go. You have to share it a certain way.
Yeah.
And then let's cut the music.
Tetris. It's the perfect game. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I played for 5 minutes. I still see falling blocks in my dreams. It's poetry, art, and math all working in magical synchronicity. It's the perfect game. Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of tetra, Greek for 4, and tennis.
Tennis.
The Russian inventor, he likes tennis.
Hazel. Yeah. This game isn't just addictive. It stays with you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hank, only 10 other people in the world have seen what you're about to see. It's called the Game Boy.
Package it with Tetris. Can you get us the rights? The Soviet Union had worldwide rights. Nothing gets out easily. I'm gonna go to Moscow.
You're walking into a country
That still considers America enemy numero uno.
Okie dokie.
You sure you don't have to talk to your wife about this first?
Pioneers have to bet the house to win.
Not literally.
Listen. Have you ever heard our apartment this quiet before?
This is the inventor of Tetris.
Your game is brilliant. I'm gonna make you a millionaire.
Mr. Hodges, have you ever negotiated with the Soviets?
We're here for Tetris.
We've seized столько ради денег.
What do you say? I don't speak Russian.
The most powerful man in Communist Party is watching you and your family.
Do you know where your husband is?
What the hell is going on?
The world is changing, and Soviet Union will not be left behind.
You want to play with the big boys? This is how the world works.
Where is my money?
This is insane.
We can't protect you.
Sometimes you gotta forget the rules.
Will things ever be the same again? Go, 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 go!
This is criminal. The Soviet Union is about to implode. They're lying, everybody's lying.
Sorry.
Oh, come on. You guys are the kings of cliffhangers.
This definitely flew in under the radar.
Not too bad.
Apple TV. Okay.
Wow, that looks really good.
It looked intense. It had that Mad Men type of feel to it. You know, I don't know if anybody ever saw that series back in the day with John Hamm and a couple other really great actors in it.
The crazy thing about that whole movie, which I didn't even know, because Soviet Union has like different laws. Like if you were a creator back in the 80s, creating something like Tetris, right? Normally, like here in the States, whatever you created is yours. Like you own that copyright. But anything you created over there, you have to give everything away to the government. The government would take it and take it over and then use it, you know what I'm saying, for their, you know what I'm saying, own purposes, man. So that was the difference. That's why there was a bidding war back and forth in that movie. So yeah, man, it was crazy. Very, very educational at the same time. Definitely entertaining, man. Definitely entertaining.
Communism
What did you
and
take away
socialist
from it?
republic. That's what they do. The government owns everything.
Yeah, that's why everybody's fighting that. But yeah, that looks sick. I don't know if it's because we said Amazon, but I was getting that Nike Air Jordan kind of vibes.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just because it's in the I don't know, what was that, the 80s? I mean, it looked like 70s. I mean, I don't know, but just
that feel, Wolf of Wall Street feel. Yeah, it had that. You know it.
the movie, man. That's my movie.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
good one, man.
Oh, can't let the
You can
kid do
always
that one
count
either.
on Leo. No matter what it's about. If Leo's attached, banger.
Yep. Speaking of big names attached, I did want to throw this one announcement in there. Coming. It looks like June of next year. So we got to wait a year. But it looks like it's confirmed that they are making a Masters of the Universe movie. We are getting a new live action rendition of He-Man for all of the big kids out there that remember that series and those toys from back in the day. Uh, Idris Elba, it looks like, has signed on to play Man at Arms, and Jared Leto is playing Skeletor,
Wow.
right? And man, now the young lady playing Evelyn, her name is escaping me right now, but I had that looked up too. And she is not a slouch. Now the main character, the guy that they cast to play He-Man, of course, very similar to a lot of these other guys when they cast this one specific main character. That's the one person they get as an unknown. And then the supporting characters, they find big names to play the supporting characters. I always thought that's an interesting tactic.
Wait. Repeat that. What happened?
That they
With the cat?
that when they do some casting for certain movies like this, like the guy signed up to play He-Man. His name is Nicholas Galitzine.
Galitzine?
Um, I'm assuming he's probably been in a few other things and that he's probably already been making a name for himself, but I honestly have no idea who he is, right? And that's what I mean when I say a relatively unknown versus Idris Elba playing Man at Arms, Allison Brie playing Evelyn, Jared Leto playing Skeletor, Morena Baccarin playing the Sorcerer. Like these are people that we know, that we
Yeah.
have seen in several other things, that have made nice big Hollywood names for themselves and signed on in some key roles, right? The roles that they signed up for are not cameo style roles. Like Idris Elba being Man at Arms is almost certain to be heavily layered throughout the whole film,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because anybody that knows the story of He-Man, he's a major character, right? He's probably more on the scene than He-Man actually is in more of the story, right? Because we all know the story of He-Man already. Again, the secret identity type of cat, right? Prince of Eternia, Adam, ends up being bestowed the Sword of Grayskull. And he ends up with an attachment to the Sorcerer and the Castle Grayskull. And he's blessed with, I guess, it's either in his ancestry, right? It's part of his bloodline, supposedly. Uh, so the power is bestowed upon him when he wields the sword and he says the magic incantation, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power. And then he magically just grows some muscle, right? He does a Hulk transformation, right?
You know what's
Well, I will at least say in the original cartoons and the toys, he was at least already reasonably swole, right? They didn't make it a drastic transformation from a scrawny dude like a Bruce Banner to the Hulk, right? It's just a guy who's supposed to look like a normal guy who's in really good shape, and then all of a sudden he grows a couple inches and swells up to, wrestler proportions. is probably the best way I could describe it. With bodybuilder rips, it all in them. You know how cartoon exaggerations are. You know, He-Man is one of these guys who's supposed to. He's the strongest there is, right? He's another Hulk type, Hercules, Thor type. He's a pinnacle of strength, right? And also truth and justice and yada yada yada. The same old story of the archetype of the hero, basically, willing to put his life on the line.
Here's my two questions about that movie when it comes out. One, do they bring in Prince Adam's sister? And two, are they bringing in Orko? Because they probably don't even have that down.
I'm almost positive they're bringing in Orko. I want to say they had visual on Orko, but it's going to be computer generated.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say that too. But but that'd be interesting.
They'll get somebody
that
for
would
a
be
voice
interesting for them to bring in.
Yeah. I'm almost positive they're going to do that.
If at the end of the movie they bring in She-Ra, that would be crazy.
Now that would be nuts if they introduce She-Ra somewhere throughout the film as a way to give us, some updates, because we had a Masters of the Universe film long time ago. Yeah, with Dolph Lundgren playing He-Man, and
which kind of flopped.
I think I remember that.
I mean, Dolph has given major hero a shot a couple times, right? He-Man wasn't the only hero he tried to play before everybody else. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There's my guy.
I mean, when I think about Dolph, all I can think about is Rocky 3.
Exactly. If he does, he does.
No, Dolph did Masters of the Universe. Yeah, of course he did the Rocky. And I can't remember that movie I used to watch.
He was also the first version of the Punisher.
Right, and he did the Punisher. What was the other movie he did with him and Brandon Lee had a movie together? Way before Brandon Lee had got into the I think it was Tokyo Showdown or something like that. Before Brandon Lee had became the Crow. This was probably a few years before
I do believe I know what you're. Yeah. I think I know. I think I've seen that movie.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies over there.
You're gonna make me look that up myself, buddy.
I'm looking it up right now. I mean,
I think it's called Tokyo Showdown or something like that. I can't fully remember. So long ago. I think it was in the 90s, in the early 90s.
Let me see.
But yeah.
Showdown in Little Tokyo. I think
I saw Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Showdown in Little Tokyo.
That's what they need to bring back, some martial arts movies, man. Like when I was younger, like Blood Fist or something. Those Jean-Claude Van Damme's, the kickboxing.
Oh, Bloodsport. Yeah.
Man.
Movies. I'm talking about movies like Cyborg. Yeah, Van Damme's first movie.
Cyborg.
Yeah.
No, Van Damme's
post-apocalyptic karate.
Van Damme's first movie was No Retreat, No Surrender. Now people don't remember that.
Yeah,
that was his first one.
He wasn't the star. That's because this was the first one he was starring in, not where he was.
No. He wasn't. I
want to say I do remember. He was like the bodyguard or the hitman or something.
Yeah, that was his first solo role, but his first acting role. But a lot of people don't remember even before that. Right before he did that, he was in Breaking. I think it was it the first one? Yeah, it was the first one. I think it was. Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
He was in Breaking.
yeah.
But he was
He
in the
was
background.
dancing
He
in
was
the
in the background.
background. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
he was
that
in the
too.
background.
I was
Yeah,
dying
so
when I saw that. Oh yeah, it's a lot of those guys that go back to that. Why they look like
hmm
Wesley Snipes?
Huh?
I said that looked like a picture of Wesley Snipes for a second.
Oh.
uh oh no, that's Jean Claude. Oh man, my eyes are bad. Oh, my
Maybe it was
screen is
me.
just small.
Yeah, but Bloodsport,
Yeah.
I remember that for sure.
Bloodsport, Kickboxer.
Kickboxer.
What else was he in? Man, he did so many movies. What was the one with
Lionheart.
him and his twin? The one with him and his
Oh
twin brother.
man, Lionheart.
Double something.
Mark for
Double. What was
Death.
it called?
No, Mark for Death was Steven Seagal. Sorry.
Double Impact.
What
Double
was it?
Impact. Double
Wait.
Impact. Yep.
Double Impact was one of my favorites. And then he did Double Team with Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. Yeah.
No, he didn't. Really?
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah, right.
One of his better ones was Lionheart. I always remember Lionheart was good. Hard Target.
He did Double Dragon, which kind of went
Oh,
downhill.
nah.
No.
Him
It
and
wasn't Double Dragon. It was
Dolph Lundgren. Him and Dolph Lundgren, bro. Was a soldier movie.
Universal Soldier.
Universal Soldier. Yeah.
Universal Soldier.
Wow.
Come on now.
This was like a different time, man. All these movies.
What's the video game? I can't think. Was it Double Dragon or was it It wasn't Double Dragon. He wasn't.
It's got to be Double Dragon. The two guys fighting.
He wasn't.
Side-scrolling.
But they made a movie. They did make a live action Double Dragon movie. It was. Oh my god. It was.
Yeah. No.
Might as well have been. It would have been a Tubi movie.
The guy who played the father from the Addams Family. He was the man. What was the name of that video game with Blanca? I can't think of the name right now.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. That's what John Claude Van Damme was in. Street Fighter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was Guile.
No way.
He was Guile. Yep. Oh yeah. The Adam, yeah, Raul Julia was Bison.
Yeah.
You know what? He passed away right after they made that movie.
Right.
He never got to see the movie hit the theater.
I think we're due for another.
R.I.P. Raul Julia.
Yeah, rest in peace. I think we're probably due for another Street Fighter movie.
I would love to see another actual a good one. Somebody take over and actually make a good one. Side note,
do it all CG.
Do you
we
know?
were talking about
Do you know
Raul
what I
Julia,
want them?
who was also in the Addams Family. More nepotism. The original Addams Family father is John Aston, and that last name is very, very familiar because his son is Sean Aston.
Oh, Rudy.
And Samwise Gamgee. Yeah.
More known for that for sure.
That's OG. That's the OG Gomez's son. And they have another son that was an actor too, Mackenzie Aston. He's older. He was actually in The Facts of Life way back in the day. But he kind of disappeared off the scene real soon after that. So he hasn't done much that we know of. But Sean, we've seen Sean do loads of stuff, right? He took the baton and ran with it.
He got lucky, man.
But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
I
definitely want to see. I would definitely want to see them remake Fist of the North Star and redo that the right way. Actually, if they were to redo anything, Fist of the North Star.
How about them take a decent crack at doing Dragon Ball now that they have better technology to do it? The first attempt was
right.
Boo.
It was terrible. Yeah, I actually had that on DVD too. It was terrible.
I did too. Terrible. I regret it.
Man.
So this is
Oh
his
man, but
problem. Going back to it.
look at what these movies have gone through over the decades, though. Look at all of that. Like, why do you think? Look at. We could have never had a Transformers in the '80s.
It
Not
would have
that
been
wasn't
horrible.
animated.
Yeah. I mean, if you just think about like
Come
Hulk,
on
we've
now.
talked about Hulk with Lou Ferrigno, right? And hey,
Think
they put
about
out
Lou
their best.
Ferrigno, OG Hulk.
They put out their best effort. He was savage. He was buff. He was all green, shredded clothes, but
They
they
found a
just couldn't deliver.
bodybuilder, right? That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Bodybuilder rips, right? He was huge. He was tall. He was what, right? And they used camera tricks to make him look, you know, menacingly big. But then when they tried it again with Eric Bana and the first actual the CGI Hulk, and everybody, and now everybody wants to rate the versions of Hulk in in strength and size and everything, and now everybody's going back to saying that version of the Hulk, the first CGI Hulk with Eric Banner playing Banner, he's the strongest because he gets the biggest. He's the one that actually grows in size the more mad he gets. So he has the potential to be really really big, right? But they said Ed Norton's version of the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, showed the best rage. They said he showed the best Hulk rage. I
Because
just think he
that's
screamed more than anybody else.
see, I don't remember the
He
Ed
did a lot
Norton
of
one.
screaming.
I just remember his eyes and his face just had a certain look about it. Like again, they were capturing
Oh
that
man,
rage, right?
you remember the movie? You remember the
You're talking
scene?
about Ed,
You don't
Ed
remember a
Norton
scene?
Hulk, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
scene in
yeah.
the field where they had him surrounded, and what's Tim Ross' character? They kicks him into the tree and just basically just pancakes him like all his bones are crushed up, like he was just like a pile of. He almost like slid off the tree. Oh, it was crazy. They did some real good graphics. Again, it seems like they wanted everybody to remember that one when they dropped Brave New World, which, thanks to our illustrious creator, we have an update on Captain America Brave New World. They're setting the release date for the DVD. If it's not already out, it should, I think, probably already be ready to hit the stores. Um, but you know how that happens every time they're not as happy with the box office turnout as they want, then it hits the shelves in like 6 months, which I think nowadays is pretty standard for movies to hit DVD and streaming services. They're not waiting. You know, back in the
Yeah.
day,
It's
you
like a
would probably
month,
almost
bro,
have to wait almost like a full year or so
to get it on VHS.
before you could get it on VHS or on DVD or something. But now it's like it what 3-4 months.
Max.
Get it now.
Yeah. Money.
Hey,
That thing is for sale.
have you guys have you seen the new behind the scenes look at the new Power Ranger suits for the new movie coming out? I don't know when it's supposed to come out. I don't know if it's 2026 or 27, but they got some
Were those the ones where they kind of went back to trying to look a little bit more classic though, like the OG TV series, but like just movie quality?
Are you
it doesn't
talking
look
about
like
the
that.
one on Netflix or something else?
No, they have a new one they're working on right now.
I can't
So
keep track, man. They got like all these different like generations of Power Rangers, and like
yeah,
I think it was after my time, and so by the time I got old enough, I was like, wait, what Power Rangers? And then like I couldn't follow, because there were just like different seasons or whatever.
yeah, they
Yeah.
just started franchising the different little yeah.
Yeah, there's
It's a lot of
definitely
it's definitely a lot of spinoffs. it's a lot of spinoffs, but they're still gonna go back to, you know what I'm saying, the original 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? That's because that's how, you know, that's how everything pretty much started. So I don't really see them doing a different Power Rangers movie to start it off with, to jump start it. Like Power Rangers, what is it, Zeo and all that type of stuff. They're never gonna do that.
Nah,
It's always
we
about the
need
5
the
original.
original. Jason, Zach, Billy, Trini, Tommy, Kim. Is that everybody? That's everybody, right? Yeah.
You said
Okay.
Zach? Yeah.
Yeah. You can't leave out Zach. Oh man! Shouts out to Zach the Black Ranger.
Walter Jones. Walter Jones. Yes, sir.
Was that so? Okay, I'm just gonna ask the question because I know everybody thought it. Was that racist? Did they make him do that because he was black? Because they figured he'd be the only one that could keep rhythm and fight at the same time.
Well, I mean, his power was a mastodon, right? Since his power was the power of a mastodon, I thought that he was supposed to be African. Maybe, right? So,
so now he's also Kwame from Captain Planet.
Hey, something like that. Something like that.
Which, at least with Captain Planet, they did. They pulled people from all over the globe. Kwame was literally from Africa. The little South American boy was South American. The one girl was Russian. The other girl was Japanese. And then you had the one American white boy, which, okay, it's fine. We got our black dude in there. We got an African in there. You can have your little.
Listen.
You can hang low.
Since you talking about, but listen though, since you talking about Captain Planet, right?
Hey, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm gonna pull it up. But that show.
No, listen. Oh yeah. But Eddie, have you seen Don Cheadle's version of Captain Planet?
Oh man, that's what I knew you were gonna mention that.
Wait, what? Don Cheadle?
If you've never seen Don Cheadle doing
you can look it up on
Planet
YouTube
right now. What are you talking about?
Oh man, it's been up for years. It's been out for years. This skit is crazy.
I think it came out on Kevin Hart's. It came out on Kevin Hart's LOL.
Please pull it up.
Oh,
please pull it up for everybody to see it. We'll spin the block on this one. It's a classic.
I kind of feel bad pulling this up though, because. All right, so everybody, just in case, Captain Planet. When did this come out? 1990.
1990. Yep.
It's a good show.
Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution down to
look
zero.
At that.
No.
Wow, they do have like all continents represented right there. I like that.
Well, Don Cheadle's versus Captain Planet, he's a Negro. He's gonna
hold up. Right. 3, 2.
Anybody remember who the voice of Gaia was?
Yes, Whoopi Goldberg.
There we go.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yep.
She voiced who?
She was the voice of Mother Earth. Gaia, Mother Earth.
Okay. I can see that. She has the perfect voice for that.
Yep.
Nurturing, motherly, that kind of voice. You know, calming. Like, okay.
She was also in Star Trek: The Next Generation. She was also in Star Trek: The Next Generation, but she was a bartender.
Was she?
Yep. She owned the bar / restaurant. She did. Man, what was her name? Was it something? It was something simple, but dumb, like XO or something like that, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
It wasn't that far from. It wasn't that far from Gaia. I promise, it wasn't. It wasn't that far off.
Hey, hold up, real quick. We have a big announcement that we should have mentioned earlier.
Hit us with it.
Eddington. Out now.
Oh,
Eddington's Echo. Let's freaking go. Hold up. I love where this conversation is going. I love this. Should we take a quick second? Check out Eddington.
Yeah, let's go and do it.
Available now. Go to Spotify. Check it out. Get a sneak peek. And then head over to Amazon or tmhcomics.com and go and grab one right now. All right. Let me see.
uh-oh. Pardon me, y'all. I gotta step away. I'll be right back.
You're good. All right. So this is the newest one. A lot of heat coming out. A lot of stuff in the works right now. This is the latest and greatest. All right. I'm going to hit play here while we wait for CJ to come back. So you guys can get a sneak peek. What's going on?
Welcome back to the deep dive, where we kind of like to take these deep dives into some pretty interesting stuff. And today we're going to be looking at choices, big ones, small ones, the kind that send ripples out, and also, we're going to be talking about unexpected abilities, the kind that you don't see coming, especially not in a small town.
Yeah, exactly. Unexpected is a good word for it. We've been going through these excerpts. They're called Eddington's Echo-1.pdf. I guess you could call it speculative history, local history, something like that.
Right. It's speculative. Yeah, I like that. And for everyone listening, whether you want to get up to speed on the story like super fast, or maybe you're getting ready for like a book club or something, or hey, maybe you're just curious, we're going to break it down.
Yeah.
Get to the good stuff.
Okay.
So we're focusing on Eddington, North Carolina. And the story really rolls around this guy, Ellis Langston. He's in his early 20s trying to figure life out. And all of this is happening in this, seemingly regular small town. But there's something else going on, something more than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's not your typical coming of age story.
Not at all. So in this deep dive, what we're going to try to do is understand these big turning points, the moments that change things for Ellis. And we got to get a sense of Eddington itself, like the struggles it's going through. Oh, and then there's this whole other thing, this kind of mysterious force that shows up.
Right, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, okay, we first meet Ellis, and he's at this like major crossroads, waiting to hear about a job, at Quantum Dynamos down in Charlotte. And for him, this job is like ticket out, away from the slow pace, the limitations he feels in Eddington.
But right away, you see how deeply connected he is to this place. I mean, his family history there, his grandmother, Ella May. Eddington isn't just where he lives, it's a part of him,
It really is. It's like Eddington's a character in the story, right? This town with a past kind of like faded glory. You've got the Langston Mill built by his great grandfather, just sitting there silent. It's a big symbol, the town's decline, maybe even Ellis wanting something different from that whole legacy.
And that's where Ella May comes in, right? She has a different view, a totally different take. She's got this wisdom and she really wants Ellis to stay. To her, it's all about community, about making a difference where you are. It creates this pull, this tension for Ellis,
Oh, absolutely. And then boom, things change.
Yeah.
Summer storm, the river's all crazy, and Ellis falls in. But it's not just about almost drowning. It's like a catalyst. He starts seeing these flashes of the future, possible futures, like glimpses one after another.
And the way they describe it, there's this electrical intensity to these visions. Like it makes you think there's something more to it, right? More than just your average near-death experience. Like, is it connected to some kind of energy? Maybe something about Eddington itself.
That's what I was thinking. So they pull him out of the river, Old Man Hemmings, a real Eddington fixture.
Mhm.
And then Carol Jenkins shows up. She's the deputy mayor, and she's also like a childhood friend.
Yeah.
It really hits you how connected he is to these people, his past, his present, all tied to this one place.
Right, exactly. And get this, even after all that, while he's recovering at Mac's repair shop, he has another vision. Quick, fleeting, but it's there. It's like a little hint that something's changing inside him.
So naturally, Ellis, being Ellis, he's got to figure it out.
Right.
So he sets up this lab, and I'm not kidding, it's in the abandoned Langston Mill.
Yeah.
He's got an EEG machine, strobe lights, even a sensory deprivation tank.
Mhm.
He's all about finding a logical explanation, thinks it's got to be something neurological,
That's so Ellis, though. He's got this systematic way of thinking. He gets frustrated when the visions come and go, and he throws himself into all this research. Temporal anomalies, which are, basically events that mess with our idea of time, stuff like paradoxes or glimpses of other timelines. And then neurology, quantum physics. He wants answers, and he's not going for any supernatural stuff, not yet.
And then
Ooh-wee.
Should we keep going?
Getting deep.
Time. We got time. 5 more minutes. It's cool.
All right, let's go.
That's all background. Yeah, because so far it's all background.
he has this super clear vision. Mac and Big Jim at the repair shop arguing. It's about money, and Big Jim is threatening to cut Mac off. This isn't just a feeling. It's a whole scene playing out in his head.
And what does he do? He acts on it. He goes to the repair shop and makes up this whole story about needing a specific carburetor for a 67 Mustang, no less. They even give us the dialogue. It's like a little play he's putting on. It's really interesting, this idea of acting on these visions. Does he have to? What will happen if he doesn't?
It's like, what would we do, right? So he does it, and the thing is, he feels this power. He feels like he can actually control what happens. He even calls himself a temporal engineer, like he's in charge of time or something.
But there's this other voice, Ella May. She's worried about his experiments, and she has this great analogy about the river. You can't control everything. Trying to dam it all up just leads to more problems, more unexpected outcomes.
It's a powerful message, right? You can't always fight the natural flow of things.
It's like a warning, right? Be careful. So then Ellis gets 2 job offers, Gentech in Raleigh, big salary, all that. And then there's the Eddington Town Council job. Less glamorous, but all about helping his community, fixing things.
And with each job, he gets visions. For Gentech, it's success, but he's lonely. And then there's this phone call from LMA. Bad news, but he doesn't see what it is. It's that lack of detail that makes it so scary, right? He's worried sick about her.
Oh, yeah, totally. And the Eddington job visions, they're not about him being some hotshot, but they're about connection, about helping people like Mac. But there's also trouble, A building collapses, the whole town's struggling. And that bad news vision, that's what gets him. That potential threat to LMA. He's so connected to her, outweighs everything else, makes you think about what we prioritize,
He's powerful. So he turns down Gentech, turns down the big money, all that, and takes the job in Eddington. It's love, for sure. And, well, a good dose of fear, too. I mean, he's seen what could happen.
Right. And good intentions don't always equal good outcomes. The town job means someone else loses theirs. Dale Peterson, who's been there forever, and he's not happy about it. Almost right away, things start going wrong. The water pump, traffic lights, even power surges at the mill. It's like Dale knew what was what, and now they're paying the price. You can't replace experience with a fancy degree,
True. And the mayor, Thompson, he was counting on that Gentech investment. They needed that money, especially for the water treatment plant. It was old, needed upgrades. Carol even mentions it at dinner. It's a big elephant in the room,
And Max says it outright. The town's dying. Young people leave to find better opportunities. It's a hard truth.
It is. And so the consequences start piling up. Things get dense. In Eddington, there's this like anxiety hanging over everything. And Ellis is right in the middle of it.
Dale leaving leaves a big hole, Mac talks about how much Dale knew, stuff you can't just learn overnight, makes you think about those unsung heroes, the people who keep things running.
Yeah, they're the backbone, right?
Yeah.
And then Sweet Surrender, the bakery, it closes down. It's heartbreaking. Mrs. Henderson, her dreams, all gone. And it's tied to that lost investment, the money they needed to keep things going.
And Mac, he can't even get the supplies he needs. Small businesses, they get squeezed, can't compete.
Exactly. And people start blaming Ellis. They whisper about him, how it's all his fault. It's what people do, right? Find someone to blame when things go bad.
It is. And all this just makes Ellis push harder with his experiments. He's obsessed with understanding what's happening, with controlling it, builds a helmet, starts using electrical stimulation. LMA's worried, but he's not stopping.
He's got to figure it out, right? And Carol, she's under so much pressure with everything going wrong in town. She keeps talking to Ellis, wanting him to help. She has no idea what he's really dealing with, just adds to the pressure,
It's a lot. And then he has this vision bad one, sirens, broken glass, and Ella May in her living room, and there's fire. It's terrifying, the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that vision. It's all about Ella May now. He's got to protect her. He's obsessed with the details, especially this frayed electrical wire. It's behind her fridge, and it's like the key to the whole thing.
He's researching house fires like crazy, fixated on that one detail. It's like that one little thing, that's all he can see, you know?
And he goes to her house right then, no warning, checks the wiring, and there it is, the frayed wire, just like in his vision.
Should we
There
keep
it is.
going?
Hey.
That sounds good, man. Quantum, temporal lobe.
All the good stuff.
All right.
All the good stuff.
It's definitely cliffhanging right now, as a matter of fact.
So where can the people find it, guys?
Yeah, if you want to definitely check out the first 10 chapters, it's definitely on Web Novel. So they can go check that out as well. It's an app where you can actually read each chapter, one chapter at a time. 10 chapters have been posted on Web Novel as well. And definitely on Spotify and definitely on Amazon. So, yeah. That's it.
Amen.
So if you go to the search bar and pull up Eddington's Echo, hopefully it'll pop up on Web Novel so people can see exactly where to go.
Echo. Echo, right? Yep, there it is.
Click on that. Let's take a look. See.
Right there, guys. First.
What are the
10 chapters?
3,000 views so far. Doing pretty good.
It's right there for you guys. We're making this real easy for you to come in, check this out, find a good story, some dope characters.
At least for a limited time, you can read it right there.
Yep.
Like you said, the first 10 chapters right there.
Yep. Love this.
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
honestly,
sir.
I'm not an expert by any means, right? But I don't feel like there's anything like this right now. Fair? I'm just saying. I mean, obviously the superhero type thing, getting powers, yeah. But seems like there's like a science twist to it and like the city, hometown type thing. I don't know. Seems different.
Yeah, there's a real and hopefully, even though it's packed in with a lot, that there's still a lot of real relatability. Right? You still want people to be able to see, even if not the actual versions of themselves, maybe people can see versions of themselves that they see in their head. Right? Maybe that's the whole purpose of comics and fantasy in the first place, is not exactly to relate to the real versions of people, but to the imagined versions of people, right? To appeal to who people wish they could be.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say it's an escape. You're in the story.
Well,
you're in that world.
That's part of the escape,
yeah.
Right? If I'm really escaping this world, I'm going to picture myself the way I want to always be. Right? That best version of myself is no longer just a guy with a decent job and a nice car in my dream. Right? Now I might be able to jump over whole buildings, or I might be able to fly, or I might know magic, or I might be immortal in my dream. I might, you know what I'm saying?
This is kind of a cliche
So,
question. What's your superpower, CJ?
oh man, if I could have any superpower out of all of them out there,
Cyclops?
not just the laser eyes, nah. I mean, we just talked about it. I mean, that instant healing factor is crazy.
That's where I'm at. How about you, T?
You couldn't shoot me in the head because it's
Yep.
just gonna go right back. Just whoop. Hey, the hole is gone. Just
Yep. I like that.
brush that off.
Now, if I'm 20, I don't know if I appreciate
Hard
that.
to get away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm not even
outside
gonna
of
lie,
that,
man. Yeah.
super
what about you,
speed
I,
has always been my most attractive.
Which one?
for me, I probably would just want I would just want flight and invulnerability, man. That's it. Just those two things, man. I'm good. I'm good to go after that.
You said flight and
Invulnerability.
oh,
I can't even say it right now, but you know what I mean.
wow.
Invincible. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
You trying to creep up on people, Terrence? What you trying to do over there? You trying to
No, I'm
creep?
saying. No, I'm
Well,
saying.
and that's
I
another
want to be.
version of I can't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I
Just
think
being
in some
invulnerable.
way, form, or fashion, everybody's superhero version of themselves is a form of I can't get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing that came to mind for me too. Is just like instant healing. I'm thinking like Wolverine type thing, where like basically indestructible almost. And as you get older,
See,
people,
I'm
you're
thinking
gonna
like
appreciate that.
I'm thinking like the Flash.
Flash, hella
Yeah.
fast.
Pe- People forget he's got like a near instant healing
Yeah.
factor too
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
because of his speed force.
See,
Yeah.
so then if you pin,
Superman broke his leg and it healed in like 15 minutes.
so you could never really pin like a Wolverine versus like Flash then, because they'll just keep going. Is that what I'm hearing? Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, because Wolverine will never be fast enough to put his hands on the Flash.
Yeah.
And the Flash could never beat Wolverine down enough for him to stay down. Yeah. Yeah. But now, if you were to ask me what the coolest ability that I have seen so far,
All
like
right. All right, Chris, what is the coolest ability you've seen so far?
it's Gambit, man. It's Gambit and the kinetic energy and his kinetic energy transfer, how he can just manipulate anything he touches and not only make it explode, right? He can generate energy with it, right? So I don't know if you remember X-Men Origins Wolverine. Taylor Kitsch played Gambit in that one. He used the ability in a way that I thought really showed the possibility of what Gambit could do. Right? He actually used it to scale a wall. Right? Because he doesn't just charge cards and throw it. Right? That's one of the reasons why he carries that bow staff, because he would charge that bow staff and hit stuff with it.
How'd he get his
The bow
power?
staff doesn't. You know what?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
As far as I can remember, I'm foggy on this one.
Uh-oh.
But I do remember seeing it. If I'm not mistaken, those powers were given to him by, you know what? And I don't remember if it was Mystique playing another type of mysterious character. Like there was, you know, that he's from Louisiana. He was born and raised on the bayou, and he was part of basically a gang back down there where he was from, and there was rival gangs down there, and the leader of each gang had certain abilities, but they were given these abilities by the same entity. I'm just going to call it an entity. I don't know if it was a god, if it was a demon, if it was Mystique playing a trick on him to pass powers from Apocalypse down through, because you know that was also part of Apocalypse's abilities. He could give people powers, or Mr. Sinister doing it. I want to say maybe Mr. Sinister has something to do with it behind the scenes, but yeah, those
check with AI?
powers were.
Should we mess with AI?
We're gonna have to.
Let's see what it says.
To look that up maybe and see if they see what kind of story they give us. But I believe they were given to him. Yeah.
All right, so I'm throwing this in. How did
he was
Gambit?
crowned the leader of the Thieves Guild.
Let's see what this thing spits out. We're given to him artificially. He was born with them as a part of the natural genetic mutation that defines mutants in the Marvel Universe. So he has the mutant ability, charge inanimate objects with explosive biokinetic energy, just like what you said. He also has the ability, he has enhanced agility and reflexes, subtle charm power, or hypnotic charm that allows him to exert a degree of influence over others, and then exceptional skill in card throwing and hand-to-hand combat.
That part is just the hypnotic charm. I think is really just
swag,
kind of crap, because he just has swag. Yeah,
like
he was a Southern gentleman and a gambler, and he has swag.
Yeah,
Right.
he's just like the ladies like him. You know what I mean? Like he's the bad boy kind of.
Right. He was a badass. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's really just all to it. But you could look at that if you looked at real life and look at some people's drip and how some people don't have it. You might call that a superpower. I'm just saying. Look at Denzel.
Some people got
some
that.
Some people might say Denzel's swag is unmatched.
Jesus right? Christ. John Mayer. Jeez.
All right.
He got that other swag, but he got it. He got that superpower, man.
I'm just saying. Will Smith's swag might just be unmatched.
Michael B. Jordan. Just certain dudes got it. Kevin
Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Unmatched
Speaking
level
of Will Smith,
swag.
man.
Charm, yes. See, and that manifests itself in a different way, because Kevin isn't so much attractive as he is lovable.
Okay, I see that. That's another way.
Since you brought up Will Smith, it just hit me too. Hancock 2 is in the works as well.
Wow, they just rolling out sequels.
Yes. Oh, and shout out to these guys for continuing the Karate Kid series yet again with Karate Kid Legends. We told y'all that once again.
Jackie Chan.
They've had some more developments. And I'm almost positive that the kid that they're teaching in this new movie he doesn't look like the kid that was bullying Dre. And I know that kid's grown, but this kid looks an awful lot just like one of those kids that was bullying little Jaden.
Hey,
In the Karate Kid movie when he was 8.
The dope thing about Karate Kid now is that they're bringing Ralph Macchio into this, and he hadn't been on the big screen in years. So, you know, because of Cobra Kai,
like,
they're bringing him back
R.I.P.
in.
Mr. Miyagi. You have Daniel and Mr. Han joining forces in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now they started to drop the trailers. They're actually starting to show, you know, little 2-minute long trailers. So you can actually see that the whole point of it is because they started to drop some of the storyline. This young kid, I think he's got to enter a different style of competition or something like that, right? He's been training in Kung Fu, but now he's got to enter a karate competition. So Mr. Han brings him to Daniel to teach him Miyagi-Do.
Wow.
So he begins to kind of mold, you know, Chinese Kung Fu with Japanese karate. And it should make for a very, very interesting style of fighting. It should, I don't know about y'all, but the one thing I did really, really like, if nobody else liked the reboot with Jaden Smith in it and Jackie Chan, the fighting action, the action choreography was seriously intense. It was very high quality.
I heard
They
that
had them
movie
little
was
kids
bad.
going at it like they were soldiers.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I just heard that movie was so
No, you're
bad.
good.
Like, what's the point of even
I say watch
watching
it for yourself first. I say watch it for yourself first. Because me, knowing what I knew about the first one, I knew what I was looking for in this movie. And when I tell you, if you know what to look for in this movie, it delivers. It delivers, right?
Sometimes it's just the way it is. Yeah.
All the famous Karate Kid scenes from the original movie, Daniel versus Johnny, right? When they remade this movie with Jaden and Jackie Chan playing Mr. Han, they revisited every key scene, but you had to notice it.
Wow.
You had to notice it. The scene where Danielson turns the shower on Johnny in the bathroom at the school dance, they do that.
They did that? Halloween time too?
They did that. It wasn't Halloween time, and that's what I'm saying. You got to watch for the way they played it out.
Yeah.
Right? The part of the movie, the part where they finally caught him at the end of this scene, because this is part of that important scene, because that's where they jumped Daniel. Like if Mr. Miyagi wasn't there to save Daniel's life, like in reality, that's the scene where Daniel could have died that night, because they were beating the snot out of him real bad. They were roughing him up bad because of the shower thing, right? Because he turned the thing in and then he took off on his bike. They were chasing him because they were all in their skeleton suits still, whooping Daniel's behind.
You know what's so crazy about
they did that in the Jaden Smith version.
Right, but what's so crazy about the whole Karate Kid thing now, especially with Cobra Kai having been out for 6 seasons, is that when Cobra Kai came out, they started making Daniel look like he was the one that was the bully, and Johnny was actually just there, you know what I'm saying, like trying to defend himself.
And that was all the way garbage. That's people trying to twist things. I always think that's weird. Why do people feel like they need to try to spin the story to try to make it seem like another version? Daniel in no way was a bully when he was innocently talking as a single man to a single girl on the beach, and her ex-boyfriend came starting trouble. Her ex-boyfriend was Johnny, pulled up with his gang on their motorcycles. He broke her radio because she broke up with him.
And then,
Who's the bad
also
guy?
too.
Who's the
But
bad
look,
guy?
then also too.
The dude that's just innocently talking, or the dude
Then
that's so
also,
jealous he takes his ex-girlfriend's radio, he smashes it,
right? But look,
acting like a child on the beach,
they were
and then
also
whoops
trying to
Daniel's
make.
ass.
Listen, they were also trying to make Miyagi look like he was a villain. I forgot what it was in Cobra Kai. Did he murder someone? He killed somebody, or he stole something and came to America?
He beat the brakes off somebody real bad and put him in the hospital. Yeah.
You talking about Miyagi?
I think.
Yeah, Miyagi.
I think they said. I think they said he accidentally killed somebody in the competition or something like that. But
yeah,
that wasn't even what the big problem was. They had found out that he, I think, went to jail for a little bit for what they said was armed robbery. But in actuality, somebody stole his wife's necklace or something, like a string of pearls he had gotten for his wife. I don't remember what the artifact was, but it was something very important to him and his wife. He tracked that man down and beat the brakes off that dude and took it back.
Got what he deserved.
And it took him a while to do it. But he stayed down until he found that guy. And it was a necklace, or it was like I said, I don't remember exactly what artifact it was, but it was something that was nostalgic and important to their love, right? So he definitely had to get that back. And it took them to the end of the series to find that. I mean, it was pretty much the last season anyway, where he's going through all of this stuff. But
Cobra Kai, right?
They did. Yeah.
Wait. Oh,
they did. They made it seem like there was a small piece of Miyagi's past where he was a criminal, but he was never a criminal.
See, that's why it's not familiar to me. We probably watched the first 2 or 3 seasons die hard. I mean, we were like hardcore because I think it was around COVID, lockdown, pandemic. Man, we like binge watched.
Yeah, that's when they brought it back, right? Because they started off like on another streaming platform, like it was like on YouTube or something. Like
it was like literally just put on YouTube,
and it took off. It caught wildfire with the first couple of episodes or whatever, and like
I think they canceled it, and then Netflix picked it up. But see, things like that, like Cobra Kai revival. I mean, Hollywood's obsession with sequels because it's just so much easier to work with a branded like IP. Everybody already knows Karate Kid, so it's just so much easier to drop the new one, the spinoff.
When it's something big like this cult classic, right? Now, there's 2 reboots that I think that they could pull off just like this, that would have such a nostalgic effect. But I do think you would have to get some of the original characters back to do it, at least part of it.
But
then also, because I want you to remember Cobra Kai, and I want you to remember Bel Air on Peacock. Right? Oh, and
they can get Whitney in there and Carlton.
Netflix is starting to pick up a different world. Did we read? They're starting to work on a different world reboot.
I remember.
I still want to look up and do some more research on that because I've seen where not a lot of info on it as far as like casting and how they're going to get it done. But as far as two reboots, I would say I don't think there's a whole lot of info as far as casting and when and how they're going to actually present, you know, the new format of the show.
The crazy thing about
But going back to the Breakfast Club and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ooh.
Hey, but look, when you're talking about a different world too, you can pull this up too, because I know a lot of people
Those
don't know
are
this.
two classics that if they do them right, they'll have the same kind of swell.
Hey, look,
What's up,
Eddie,
T?
the guy who played Dwayne Wayne, Kadeem
Yeah.
Hardison, right?
Yep.
He has his own show. You can go to YouTube and check it out. But he talks about Marvel, he talks about DC, but he's a big Marvel fan, and the whole time he's talking about his favorite Marvel characters. He's putting toys together, and it's pretty dope. But he talks about, you know, all his favorite characters and stuff like that. So I was pretty shocked that he was a comic book fan, an X-Men fan. So
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
He's unboxing all the toys.
Well, especially to that level where he's like building like large scale models of. Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up.
Otherwise known as Magneto.
Yep, that's Dwayne Wayne right there.
Because I don't use a magnet, I use a magnet. And he's the master of magnetism, not the master of magnetism. So I don't know how they mispronounce it. How we've been calling him the wrong shit for all these. Let's go.
Hey, that's sick.
Start with the base. All right.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, he gets down.
Can we make this Boxy's job?
You want to do toy?
Hey, Boxy, got a prop.
I'm gonna skip ahead.
Lencha. Let's get Eric Lenta into place. So anyway, I was saying, the X-Men always kind of reminded me of me. I related to them. They got sent to different schools. I got bused to school when I was a kid. Fits in nice. There's another super peg happening right here. And that got them steady. They couldn't enjoy any of the reindeer games, basically. And I related to that. That was kind of what was happening in my life in 1970, 1980, kind of. So I really had a good time with these books. This guy and Professor Xavier kind of paralleled two different people in history for me. He was definitely Malcolm X, and Professor Xavier was Martin Luther King. It was heavy.
I can see that.
For me to pick up a book and
Same
read
for
that
me.
and have that connection.
Same for me.
All right. Color coded. Red.
All right, I'm gonna go to the end. I just got to see this thing. Ooh.
Shake it.
No, don't shake
it. Don't shake it.
Just give it a little more. There you go.
Like a man. So then when you get this home, you can stand around and do this.
Just loading the stuff off of it and then making it slow.
Magneto. Dude, that's sick. I'm gonna see how much that thing is. Right? Magneto.
About $500, man.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. At least $300, $390.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's probably jumped up now because of, you know, inflation.
At least 3 digits, if it's not 4. Well, because he previewed it, it's probably worth more now.
Ooh.
When they do stuff like that, when big names do stuff like that, they like it ends up driving up the value because they're like, "Oh, is that the same one Dwayne Wayne showed us? Is that Iron Man?" Oh, stop it!
Dang, that's clean.
And you can make it look like you can make it different versions of the suit too. Come on.
Only $2,000.
Hmm.
Dang! Imagine after the tariffs.
Only 2 G's. I said it. I said it.
Just
If
2 Gs.
not 4 figures.
Hey, this thing is
Woo.
36 inches
Would you
tall.
pay 2 G's for that?
Probably
Okay.
not.
So it's 3 feet tall.
Wow, with the base and everything, that's insane.
Yeah, you got to be an avid toy collector, man. Like an avid toy collector.
Only if I had a whole room, a shrine for full scale models and stuff like that.
We need to
Right?
dedicate
I'd
a
have to
whole
have a room
episode, man,
big
to
enough
looking at these.
where I could.
I seen this one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I like how I love the toys now. Yeah, this is a $200 toy, but like I used to be into like McFarlane toys.
I wonder.
$30 toy, and it
Yeah,
looks.
I was gonna say. I wonder if they have any anime. Yeah, I wonder if they have any anime stuff like scale models like this, like Goku or Piccolo and stuff like that, or like how like video games, how they'll have like a Sonic or Mario or something like that, or here's another one. We segue into something else. A new show that has just hit Netflix. I don't know if anybody's ever played this game, but Devil May Cry is something that you probably want to watch if you're into action anime. Just my advice. Devil May Cry on Netflix.
That was a popular game.
I'll
I never
say it
got into
again.
that one.
Yeah. I played it a little bit when it first came out. I did, but I think that just kind of faded away with a lot of the rest of my game playing as I aged, right?
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s now, and the only time my PS5 comes on is when my son turns it on.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the perfect way
but
to
I still got
explain it.
basketball for me. I still got a couple racing games for myself.
Yeah.
Is that it? Oh yeah.
It definitely did fade away though, because I
It looks like
remember
a
it being
preview of the
like,
cartoon. I mean,
there you go.
what were you saying, Eddie?
Oh, I was gonna say that I
Oh,
remember
okay.
it just being a
For a
popular
second, I
game.
thought you cut off on me.
Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and then like nothing. So it was just weird. And then all of a sudden, it
Oh,
was
definitely.
about
It
the
had a
other
full
guy,
run.
the
It did.
Viking guy, God of War. As soon as God of War dropped, it was like all the focus was on
Kratos.
God of War. Exactly.
Uh-huh. And it still is, because that's one of the other things they've been trying to develop behind the scenes. And I think that they just haven't really been really on the surface with it, because I don't think they've made enough progress to really call it in production yet.
Yeah.
But they've been working on a live action God of War for probably about 5 years now, I think. They have a bunch of ideas of who they want for Kratos, but they don't have
We on the
anything
same page,
solidified yet.
man. That's exactly what I was wondering. Like, I wonder if they're coming out with a series, a movie,
Yeah.
live action, something.
The minute they come with it, I'm gonna know, and I'm gonna say it. It'll be an announcement on the episode that very week. Might pop up in live stream early. I might call an
That's
emergency
why,
stream
folks.
to announce
That's
the
why,
date
folks,
of the live.
you gotta come back every single Tuesday. Make sure you come back, join the conversation, hear what's going on, all the latest and greatest news, hear what we're up to, what we're dropping, and get in on this, guys. So this is from 5 months
That's
ago.
right.
I'm not even
That's right.
sharing.
All your ladies. Yep.
But live action will
Where is it?
start
Okay.
development.
No, you good. All your ladies, anime, comic book, video game, and even some music and sports news. You can get it all right here.
A little bit of everything.
What do we have there? What's that saying? Oh, that's a picture of the latest. That's illustration from the latest one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where he had his son
The little
out there
boy.
with him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Are they going to start there, or are they going to start with ancient Greek Kratos? I mean, it only seems fit that if they just now doing it, that they should still start from the beginning with him having to go through all the trials, different god trials.
Yeah, that'll be
Because
really interesting.
that was, I think, my whole infatuation with it in the first place when it first came out. Is like, to be honest, in literature, when I was going to school,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Greek mythology was always what fascinated me the most, right?
Yeah.
Learning about the Greek gods, Hercules and Zeus and Ares and Apollo and Hermes and and all the sub stories with Achilles and Ulysses and like there's it was the whole thing was always pretty fascinating, right? They just had a way with describing it that just always made it where you wanted to be and what you wanted to be reading up on and learning about.
And honestly, if I can
So
say this, I'm not surprised to hear
naturally,
that because it's like your ancient comic books, your your OG superheroes.
well, I mean, I like a lot of the new ones too. I'm not opposed to anything new, but I also feel like it's hard to continue to be original, right? What new
Yeah.
superpower are they going to create? They've already gone into the fact that now, as they've talked about superpower lore, characters like all the Looney Tunes, right? Bugs and Daffy and Porky Pig and Foghorn Leghorn and all the way into some of your, if I was to describe them, wacky anime characters have what's called the Toon Force, right? And they basically only did that to countermeasure what you would call OP characters, overpowered characters, right? Characters that no matter what always have more power than their enemy or more power than the situation, or like Superman,
Mm-hmm.
for example. Superman always gets to rise to the occasion, right? And it's honestly it's the event. It's the same thing in the movies. It's called being the star of the show, right? The star of the show can't die. The star of the show can't lose, right? So the star of the show always has to have the extra ounce of power, the extra ounce of will, the extra ounce of stamina. You know what I mean? The extra ounce of keep pushing that's necessary to win, no matter how much bigger and more insurmountable the odds are in each and every next episode or issue. Your star always has just enough power to win, right? That's called being OP. overpowered. Toon Force is a countermeasure or another way of being OP over just raw comic book or cartoon strength. Now this is your, like, Jim Carrey's The Mask would be what you would consider the epitome of Toon Force, right? Or Luffy. I don't know if you know a whole lot about One Piece, but in your later developments of One Piece, Monkey D. Luffy has gone into fifth gear, where his hair turned white and he has basically what you would call reality warping or tune warping abilities, where he's not only powerful enough to defeat the enemy, but he's so powerful he's having an effect on the story, the cartoon, the creation, the drawing, right? The actual artwork will move with him, right? He'll bounce off a mountain, and then all of a sudden, now the mountain is no longer a mountain. He's turned it into a rubber pillow cushion, and it'll be bouncy, and then it'll form that, you know. Yeah, you got that. You know what you know exactly where I'm going with this,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
Toon Force, right? That's the same Toon Force that allows Bugs Bunny to pull a lever out of thin air and it drop an anvil on Elmer Fudd's head out of the sky, right? This is Toon Force magic, right? This is the same Toon Force that allows Bugs to put his finger in the hole of Elmer Fudd's shotgun and it blow back onto Elmer Fudd, nearly supposedly blowing his face off, but all it does is turn his face smut black, right? uh, this is how Tom and Jerry can basically kill each other 5 times every episode, but neither one of them, nobody dies, right? Coyote and the Roadrunner. How many times the Roadrunner done tricked Coyote into running off a cliff and literally falling down hundreds of feet to his death? I don't care if you're a cat. I don't care if you do land on your feet. That far down, splat, right?
Game over.
But cartoons don't die. Cartoons don't feel pain. Toon Force, right? Because of that fact, not even an OP character could beat somebody that possesses Toon Force because they have no pain, reality warp. They have these abilities where it's just called, I'm not dying, I'm not even getting hurt. You could squish me like a bug and I'm just going to pop back up. Right? And
You're
I
going
think,
deep
look,
right now,
the
man.
closest
I never
thing we
even heard
have
that.
in comics to that, I know, right? I just went on a big tangent, and I think we have characters in regular comics that come close to that, but the only 2 characters that do, or I would say 3, but Elongated Man really don't count for me. But Plastic Man and Reed Richards, the rubber characters, kind of close, right? Because they're rubber, you can't shoot them, you can't break them, right? The worst thing that they could ever do, that they ever showed you that they could do to those guys, is freeze them solid, right? Because they're rubbery. So that's the only way to really cause them pain, is to make them stiff. But then they can still always go back. They're basically immortal. They can't feel pain anymore. They could be squished completely flat and come back to form, right? Rubbery. And which coincidentally, Monkey D. Luffy also possesses that ability in the anime world, which is what helped lead him into Toon Force, because he also discovered how to use that ability to overpower even the most powerful people. Because, yeah, he can't feel pain. He can stretch himself big or small, long or short. Like, it just gives so much versatility to your abilities that it just, that's the ultimate power, is rubbery, stretchy guy. Isn't that weird?
Never
The
even thought about
ultimate power is rubbery, stretchy guy. It's not the magnet. It's not the ultra powerful. It's not the super fast. It ain't the dude with the freeze gun. It ain't the dude that could do magic. It's the dude that could never be hurt no matter what you do to him. You could set them on fire. They're not flammable. They're rubber. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking they might melt.
Just gonna dissipate. But they could also come back to form because they're flexible, malleable, bendable, right? Okay, melt them. They'll just cool down and come back and be fun.
Yeah, I see that.
Rubbery guy is the most indestructible power there is.
With the least amount of
Can't beat
swag.
it.
The least amount of swag for sure.
Right. I think it's amazing that it has to be that way.
Yeah.
Because why does he have the least amount of swag? He ain't got no muscles. He had no muscle.
Yeah.
For a dude, if you ain't got no muscle, it's not a lot of ladies that's gonna be looking at you. Your drip is gonna drop. The only rubbery person, the only rubbery character that has swag is a female. And yes, I'm calling her out, Elastigirl.
Boom. Hell yeah.
Incredibles.
I was wondering. Wow, you're going to that's Pixar, bro. That's Disney.
But why though? Yeah. Shouts out to Disney Pixar. Why does she have swag? Because as a lady, she didn't have to be shaped for muscles. She was curvy.
Real curvy. Where's one?
I mean, come on now.
Look at those thighs.
Come on now. Elastigirl is officially up there. Elastigirl is officially up there on the pantheon of hot female cartoon characters.
Yep.
Find my lies.
Yep.
I stand on business.
Yep.
Her,
she's dope, but
Betty
Jessica
Rubble,
Rabbit, man. Jessica Rabbit.
Ooh.
Jessica Rabbit.
That she's on the other end of the spectrum, though.
Come on now. Who? Elastigirl?
I might have to take Elastigirl.
Jane Jetson?
Nah. Betty Rubble for sure. But Jane Jetson, I don't know about. Elastigirl is up there, just like Jessica Rabbit and Betty Rubble. Everybody know Betty thick. Everybody know Betty got that thing,
you
boy.
take her home to your mom's. Jessica Rabbit, nah.
Man, Elastigirl. Not in the lounge singer outfit, no.
I thought that was their only outfit.
Nah, I don't know. I'm kind of with I'm kind of with Eddie on this one, man. You can't come home to mom with all that.
No. I'm going. Listen. I'm going with Jessica Rabbit. Listen. I'm going with Jessica Rabbit, and I'm also going with the girl from the movie with Brad Pitt. What was it called? Be Cool, that came out in the 90s.
Be Cool.
You probably don't remember that. Brad Pitt, I think it was called Be Cool
Oh
or something like that.
Cool World.
Or something like
It's
that.
Cool
Yeah,
World.
Cool World, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I've never
Be
seen
Cool
this.
was the sequel to Get Shorty,
Right.
which
Cool
was
World.
also
Something like
a really great movie. Cool World, though. Yeah.
Damn, look at Brad Pitt. Hella young. Wow.
There she goes.
Yeah. This girl might as well have been Jessica's sister.
Yeah, for sure.
She might as well have been Jessica Rabbit's baby sister. Yeah, like that.
She got that
Marilyn
Marilyn
This was the
Monroe.
same world.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Marilyn
Cool
Monroe
World
type
and Who
figure.
Framed Roger Rabbit should be part of the same universe.
Yeah.
Oh, which is crazy. That should be a topic that we discuss too. TV shows that should be part of the same universe. Yeah.
Let's jot that
Case in
down.
point. Or movies. Or even movies that should be part of the same universe. Look, I was reading and I found a strange comparison, right? Kurt Russell's Big Trouble in Little China and Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child. Some of them same characters are in both of those movies, which make you think that they're part of the same universe.
Who you talking about? Fool? No, he wasn't on there.
Yeah, somebody just threw that out there.
I can see that.
Who?
No, I'm just saying I can see that. Big Trouble, Little China, and
Oh yeah, and The Golden Child. Yeah,
Sakanas?
because the guy that played Lo Pan. No, thank you. the guy that played Lo Pan was the agent guy.
Yeah, you're right. He was the guy that ran the shop. That dragon lady behind the curtains. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you right about that.
Yeah,
you right about that. Man, I didn't think about that.
And Egg Shan was the girl's Gupta. The old man from Big Trouble in Little China, who made the elixir that made them all super, and was head of the good gang. Remember Egg Shan, the old scruffy old man? She was the lady's grandfather in The Golden Child. She the girl Eddie fell in love with. Yeah, he was the leader of the little shrine, the Krishna shrine, who wiped the booger on his shirt, and Eddie wanted him to get it off before it froze up, made him scratch himself, tricked him out of his money and everything. That's to do to take my money. Yeah.
I thought the Golden Child was a boy. No.
Oh yeah.
No.
I think it was a girl that played him though.
She's a girl.
I think I was a kid.
But she was playing the little boy.
And speaking
the
of
little kid was a boy in the movie, but it was a girl. Yeah, it was a girl that played.
And speaking of which, there's actually a picture of Eddie Murphy and the girl that played the boy, but she's older now. It's a picture online somewhere with her and Eddie Murphy together. But speaking of which, when you talk about The Golden Child, that was one of my favorite movies, man. And I had a crush on the girl that Eddie Murphy was dating. And I was crazy about her. Man.
Which one was that?
I can't remember her real name.
Right here?
Let me see.
Keenan?
Yeah, that's her. Yep, that's her. T-Name. Yep. She was beautiful, man. My God, she was beautiful.
It's that mixed Asian, man.
This is a PG show, so I won't even talk about the scene where I really fell in love with her in the movie. But I'll leave that. I'll leave that alone.
Boy, stop. T-Name.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. So you just gonna you just gonna leave that?
Yeah. Viva la paz.
Look, Chris. Look, Chris. No. I was gonna say Eddie Murphy. What Eddie Murphy say?
You gonna leave that book on your shirt?
Leave that right there. We on your shirt. Freeze up, scratch stuff.
Yeah, you might want to wipe that off before it freeze up and scratch yourself. You ain't hear me? I've been saying it the whole time. That's the dude that took my money. I
didn't hear that part.
I want the knife. Not that. That's the first time I said that. But I talked about him. I talked about him having the booger freeze up on his shirt and he's scratching himself on it.
What are you saying?
That's probably one of my favorite. That's probably one of my favorite movies, man.
Now look. You have the keen instinct. The keen instinct.
the cunning. The instinct. Yes. Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's a good.
You don't even know why you smiling. He just that show though.
Yeah, they don't make him.
Eddie, man. Yeah. he basically done retired. He ain't doing it no more.
Man.
Dave protests before he can get a movie done. All we got is Kevin.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I ain't mad at Kevin. Kevin's funny to me. Kevin is funny to me.
Kevin,
I see where some people don't think he's funny, but he's funny to me.
You know what though? When you talk about Kevin Hart, a lot of people don't talk about Die Hard, and I definitely like those movies I've seen with a minute. But yeah, little action movie for Kevin Hart, man. It's pretty dope.
I think it's love-hate with Kevin Hart. Like, I think people at least know him, and so he's recognizable. But it's kind of that his style of funny is just, like, sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't hit. Because he's relying on his delivery or something.
You know what I think it is?
Kevin Hart's comedic genius is him really being the guy from your neighborhood growing up that just made everybody laugh.
Oh yeah.
And that's and that's pretty much where he comes from with that, because anybody that watches Kevin, and can relate, because everybody growing up had a funny dude in their crew or from their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that always just had jokes, or somebody always played jokes, or somebody always took
or not necessarily
made you laugh.
Or not necessarily funny, but somebody who was either always messing up or clumsy and tripping up, or like always on the bad end of a funny situation. Mm-hmm. Right? So not only making you laugh, but Kevin seemed like because I know about this guy too, right? He was also the guy you laughed at because everything happened to him. Right? If somebody was going to get in an accident, it was going to be him. Right? If somebody was going to look stupid, falling off their bike, flying into a tree, it was going to be him. Right? Somebody messed up with the fireworks and got stuck too close to the fireworks, and they started going off at your feet and had you dancing. That was going to happen to him. It wasn't going to happen to nobody else in the neighborhood. It was going to happen to him. So it wasn't just that he was funny. Funny stuff happened to him all the time. So unwillingly, sometimes some people are just always the butt of the joke. And to me, it seems like he knew how to turn that into fame, right? Because if I don't know if you see what he does to himself on Real Husbands of Hollywood, but that's exactly the character he's given himself to play on Real Husbands of Hollywood. Everything bad happens to him, and it's funny.
Hey, that show is crazy.
Everything dumb comes out of his mouth, and it's fun. Right. But it's crazy because he is the butt end of every joke. It's an 8-year-old kid to whoop his behind. Like over like a pie or a slice of cake or something like that. Like he called the little kid Little Biggie Smalls. The dude punched Kevin in the face, man. And, like it Chris Rock clowned him real bad one episode. It was it was real ugly. Chris Rock clowned him bad about being the funniest black dude in America and having the real fame versus the fake fame. Like it was he's just the butt of every joke. And he perpetuates it because it like if you're watching the show, like you can see where it's like, okay, he's playing an idiot on purpose. Like the real Kevin Hart would have never made it as big as he was if he was making the kind of decisions he's making on Real Husbands of Hollywood. He's knowledgeably making himself the idiot in the show, right? Like that's just the character he decided to write for himself.
Yeah, that's his persona
And
now, for sure.
There are some people out there who just cannot find any good luck. We have known these people, right? So in that sense, he had always been relatable, right? Now, here's one thing I'm gonna give you before we cut, because we're kind of getting we're getting really long-winded here. But I think that's good that we actually had a lot to talk about in this show. But going back to this, I got this like when it comes to how funny people think he is versus how they used to see him when he was first coming up. Shannon Sharp said this. Before he got the big ESPN contract, before he got really famous for all the sayings and all the antics that he was doing on Skip and Shannon and everything, right? Before he got real famous, he said everybody was in his corner. Everybody was cheering for him. Everybody was rooting for him. Everybody loved everything about him. They didn't see his ego. They didn't see none of that, right? But now he's winning a little bit too much for them to keep cheering for him. So now he gets a little bit of backlash almost every time he turns around, even though he hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is his platform has grown, right? If you look at Shannon Sharp, he say the same thing today. He act the same way now on Stephen A. that he did when he was guest starring on Fox and on ESPN, and then when he got on Skip and Shannon and everything like that. He was acting that same way, and everybody was rooting for him back then. But now he got the big contract, he got the big money. He's on the panel with Stephen A. every week, and now he gets a lot of backlash for. And now Club Shay Shay and Nightcap have won awards like several years in a row. You know what I mean? For like the internet awards and stuff like that. So he's winning every time he turns around. So now people just ain't in his corner as much as they used to be. And he's just like, he hasn't changed, but the fame made people around him change. Right? That's the same thing people always say. Money don't make you change. Money changes the people around you. Right? Money start changing everybody around you. Right? How do you know this? Because before I was a millionaire, when I was broke, Nobody needed anything from me. Now that I got a little something, now everybody needs my help. Right? That's a change. Right? Before, when I was broke, nobody was trying to find out what I was doing on every holiday, or if I was firing up the grill, or if I was going to be doing something at my house. But now that I got the big house with the fancy yard and the swimming pool, now everybody want to be at my house. Now everybody want to make my house the family dinner house, right? That's what happens when you start growing in your platform. People start wanting to use you for what they could get out of you, even though they didn't help you get there, right? And if you set a boundary, because again, nobody said you wouldn't host the family dinner or throw the barbecue in your big fancy new backyard, but it's also not going to be every time, right? Every holiday, every occasion, every time you turn around and think of something that happens, you're not going to use my place and you're not going to use my resources, right? Just because I have more of them. And I think that just people not being able to use you the way they want to after you've grown some takes people out of your corner, right? Because again, power and money only shows you who was really in your corner in the first place and who was waiting around to see if they could get something out of you, right? There's always both kinds of people around you almost at all times. I think the same thing happened to Kevin, right? Because when he made Paper Soldiers, when he did Death of a Dynasty, when he was doing something like a business, when he was doing Soul Plane, nobody said Kevin Hart wasn't funny. Everybody said Kevin was the funniest dude on the planet when he was first coming up. Now he gets a whole lot of teeter-tottering of people saying he ain't that funny. He ain't never been funny to me. You lying. He's been winning so long now, you're tired of it. Like you just want to see somebody else win. Like I'm one of the biggest Michael Jordan fans in the world. By the sixth title, I was still like, can nobody beat this guy? Nobody? Nobody's good enough to challenge the Bulls? Come on. There's got to be somebody. And then Iverson comes along and breaks his ankles every time he sees him. And it's like, okay, the game is finally starting to change. Right? But then that's what it is, though. Like, Kevin is going to have to accept the fact that the bigger he gets, the more hate he's going to find. The more backlash for any and any little thing he's going to get. Because he's just winning too much for everybody to keep cheering for. Right? Tom Brady gets to his fourth ring and we're like, yo, somebody take this guy down. They got to be cheating.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they were.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Sometimes, because we're all human and we all know none of us are perfect, so none of us can believe that somebody can have this perfect of a run for this long. And that's really what it is. Kevin is still one of the funniest people on the planet, but half the people are going to stop rooting for him because he's been winning so much. Everything he does turns to gold.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to see a run like that, right? I think that's also why it was, I say, not always it necessarily a good thing, right? Because bad things happen to everyone, but just like they say when you're running for president, a little scandal makes you human, right? So at the same time, it was also a little good that he's already been in a couple of scandals. He's already divorced. He's already got caught in a scandal where he had to make it up to his new wife. He's he's already had some money scandals happen out. You know what I mean? So he's already also had blemishes on his record. So that will also soften up the way people look at him, because then they'll say he hasn't always won, right? He's had to come back from it. He's had things that he's had to battle, right? But at the same time, he's still not out there committing crimes. He's not he doesn't have 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his room. You
Maybe.
know, he doesn't he don't have video surveillance of him beating his woman down and stuff like that. You know, like there are certain lines that you can probably just believe that he's never going to cross, right? Certain people out there, you just know certain things. You could just, by now, they're never going to cross that line because they ain't never been affiliated with anybody else that's gotten anywhere near crossing that line. Again, like with people, like how many people have come out saying, "Hey, I would never at the Diddy parties. I always left early." You think? Look how many people came out saying, "Hey, I always left before the real stuff happened," or "I was never in the party in the back," or the late night after party when they really jumped off. Like after the initial, the first portion of the party ended, I left. Like you had 1 million people coming out trying not to be associated with the back room at the Diddy party. So, I mean, it's, everything comes with a grain of salt, right? Like I really think like little things like that, and the point I'm trying to make as far as like the scandal when it comes to Kevin, like sometimes the scandal comes along to take you out of the public eye for a little while and let you just put your head down and go to work, right? When you end up in trouble in the public eye and in the court of public opinion, you kind of got to shut up. You can't be out there making interview tours and doing all this stuff, because most of the time you end up hurting yourself, right? And I know we're getting close to our hour.
2 hours.
And I'm going on.
No. This is good, man. Whoa. Chris.
What just happened?
I guess we lost Chris.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, it was a good show anyway, altogether.
Heck yeah.
It was definitely a good show.
Here we go. Boom.
Yeah, and I think we ran over. We've gone
had
past
some technical difficulties.
There we go.
Yeah, we're in the 2 hour mark. We done did 2 episodes in one night. So I guess that was just kind of the final thought. I guess everything has to come with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? And with that, I guess the moral of the story to that is, no matter what happens, keep your head down, stay working hard, and the good things will happen, and you'll weather any storm. But with that, it's been a double episode tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all got a lot out of it. Eddie, always a pleasure to see you every week, sir.
Always, baby.
My guy, the illustrious creator.
Yep.
Man, more good stuff on the books and more good stuff coming. Again, Spotify, Amazon, web novel. Go get it. TMH Comics, Eddington's Echo, the newest installment. Go check it right now. Thank you. God bless you. We love you. We appreciate you. Good night.
Good night. All right, so this time